What's happening, everyone? Happy Monday. I hope you guys had a great Christmas celebration with your friends and family as much as possible, obviously, in these times. That's it. Last Monday of 2020. Been a crazy year. A lot of ups and downs for everyone. Unfortunately, sports and boxing weren't excluded from everything that happened. And I want to start today with something that doesn't have to do with a specific event or that has to do with boxing from a technical standpoint of view, but with something that Anthony Joshua did. He made a substantial donation to amateur boxing clubs in England following the exclusion of amateur boxing from a £300 million emergency relief package that was passed by the English government. And I just want to talk about why that is, why I consider amateur boxing not being included in such a package a huge slap in the face for the sport of boxing and for fighters all across the world, not just England. Because if something like that were to happen in America, if the American government or any big European government were to releases a relief package like such, boxing wouldn't be included in those either. And I'm not talking about professional boxing, I'm talking about amateur boxing. And the reason for this is that amateur boxing is obviously not as popular as professional boxing. It doesn't have the same viewership, but the truth is that amateur boxing is the foundation of the sport. And you know, there's thousands upon thousands of people all over the world that might be coaches, fighters that work just as hard as the professionals day in and day out to achieve their dreams, to win a world championship, to better the lives of their families, that are excluded from something like this. And just to put things into perspective, right? In this relief package, 300 million, badminton received £2 million, right? Badminton has given England a total of 2 bronze medals and 1 silver medals in Olympic Games throughout the history. Great Britain has had 59 Olympic medalists in boxing, including 18 gold medals, 16 silver medals, and 25 bronze medals. And 40% of England's amateur boxing clubs come from the 20% most segregated neighborhoods of the country. Now, this last statistic, although being for England specific, is the same all around the world. Boxing clubs are normally the best boxing clubs, the boxing clubs with the most history tend to be in the poorest neighborhoods. And the impact that boxing clubs have on the youth, the amount of kids that boxing has gotten off the street. I mean, countless examples of huge stars such as Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Roberto Duran. All these guys came up through the amateur system. Anthony Joshua and made it to the top of the professionals. And that's why this relief and boxing being excluded is one of the reasons why I always say that every boxer deserves every dime they ever make. Because no one cares about them. Absolutely no one cares about these fighters until they are world champions. And that's something that needs to change. because it also affects the actual level of the sport. If you go on to BoxRec and you see, each weight class, every year there's more active fighters. There's more and more, right? I mean, 5-6 years ago, it was between 1,000 and 1,500. Now it's between 1,300 and 2,000, 2,500 fighters per weight class. And the reason why only the top 25, top 30 are really any good, or could be considered have potentially to be elite, is because the amateur system is terrible in most parts of the world. So these guys, they have a few amateur fights, they become of age and they turn professional because they'd rather get paid to fight, to take a beating, than continue to grow as amateurs. This wouldn't happen if amateur boxing had more financial aid, if amateur boxing as a sport was more supported by the government, right? We wouldn't see the mismatches we do today. We would see the bar of the sport in general being raised by quite a few levels. So I want to just give a huge shout out to Anthony Joshua for remembering where he came from and for helping out these boxing clubs that really need it, because they were forced to shut down again in England.